Well, of course, a lot of us watching you in these two roles, first as National Security Advisor and then as Secretary of State, were just really in awe of the sort of poise that you seem to show in a very difficult at times male environment in the administration. I mean, this was very alpha dog guys. You know, they really were. And they often disagreed with each other. In fact,
Yes.
they frequently disagreed with each other. And sometimes you had to really figure out how to assert your point of view and not let them in any way marginalize you, not because they didn't respect you intellectually, but just because of that testosterone. Yeah. Talk a little bit about that environment and what it was like to work in that environment.
Well, it's a lot easier to work in that environment if you're Secretary of State, because the National Security Advisor's role...
That helps. That definitely helps.
Yeah. The National Security Advisor, it is rarefied staff, to be sure, but it's staff. Your responsibility is to help others get their views to the President, to bring them together around issues. You're kind of the coordinator of American foreign policy. I once said to President Bush, being the National Security Advisor is like trying to do foreign policy by remote control. Can I get Secretary X to do this and Secretary Y to do that? You don't own troops, you don't own diplomats, you're not a cabinet officer, and so the thing that you have going for you is you're down the hall from the President of the United States.
And of course, you had a winning card, which was a great closeness, personal closeness.
Exactly, and we were very close, but you can't use it all the time. You can't constantly say, well, the President wants, the President said, because ultimately people come to resent that. So the National Security Advisor's role is a very subtle role of trying to orchestrate foreign policy. When you're Secretary of State, you have your own views. You represent the views of the diplomatic side. And I found that as Secretary of State, I would simply go to the table and I would argue. The Vice President and I, you know, we're still friendly, but we didn't agree about very much. And he would say, now, it won't surprise you that I don't agree with Condi on this. And I would say, it won't surprise you that the Vice President and I don't agree because I'm going to propose diplomacy here. And so it was friendly, but it was very important for the President to be able to hear those views in an unvarnished way. And as Secretary of State, I never felt the slightest sense of intimidation in putting my views forward, arguing them vociferously, and winning my fair share.